What's going on, everybody? Thank you for stopping by. I'm here with my boy Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective. What's up, Tommy?
What's going on, nibble, y'all? Hey, you better hide those toes. We're going to be coming for them.
We're here to talk about this tweet that was put up by the High Republic Archives. Apparently, the High Republic Archive says Justina Ireland is a fantastic creator and advocate. She does not deserve the harassment she is receiving for speaking out against institutional racism. We fully believe that Black creators and voices should be uplifted. Star Wars is for everyone except bigots. And this tweet is not an invitation for you to reply. Oh, you can't speak. Look, Tom. Look, Tommy, you can't even look. They didn't even want you to reply. This tweet is not an invitation for you to reply and try to debate us on this. If you jump into this mentions trying to justify the harassment, your reply is getting hidden and you're getting blocked. Simple as that. Echo chamber.
This is exactly the type of nonsense we talked about many times before. You know, when you do not, fit in with their narrative, they're going to have to block you. They're going to have to call you a bigot. They're going to call you a supremacist. They're going to call you whatever they need to call you to shame you and either make you back down or crawl away under a rock, because that's where they want to put you. They won't want to see you front and center. They don't want to see you going against their narrative. And this is just their way to silence you. You can't be silenced. Remember, Plato said it best. Don't let them tell you what you can and can't say, what you should or shouldn't watch. Your silence gives consent.
Talk about projection. Like, a lot of the problem with these SJWs and people, these far leftists, Disney Lucasfilm, people working at Disney Lucasfilm, is projection. They project their own bias and hatred upon others. I'd like to take a look at a couple things Justina has said that may have created, a backlash against her. This is Disney Star Wars is Dumb from the great Ichibaka. Please go check out this blog site. It is a wonderful archive site for all of the lunacy that Disney Lucasfilm has pressed. Justina Ireland doubles down on her hatred for whites. Tommy, can you believe that?
Could that be possibly institutionalized racism?
I don't know.
Wait, was she locked up? Go scroll back on that picture. She looks like somebody that might have been institutionalized, so I think it's possible. It could be institutionalized racism.
It could. You're right. You're right. Under those conditions, absolutely. Star Wars High Republic author Justina Ireland has no idea what's going on in the world around her, and she's ready to broadcast that fact to everyone. Here she's talking about, I wish Democrats would take a longer view on what happened yesterday. I guess this is after that thing, the DC. Yes, Trump and his cronies incited that mob to violence. But the embers were already there thanks to years of right-wing propaganda that plays on the manufactured white fear and anxiety, aka racism.
So according to her, the only way that you can have racism is if you have white fear?
Yeah, I guess that's what it is.
Okay, so if it's any other kind of racism, so if it's, brown on Asian, or it's black on Asian, or it's black on brown, I mean, I guess that's not really racism. It can only be racism if a white person is in the driver's seat here. Oh yeah, good to know.
Good to know.
I think we figured out what institutionalized racism is in that crazy bitch's mind is.
I love this. Itchy puts this up because your outrage is manufactured, and it's got the left-wing violence, lasted 7 months, condemned by most Republicans, encouraged by media and politicians, police force used, 23 people shot dead, 700 officers injured, 150 federal buildings damaged, hundreds of small businesses destroyed. No outrage. Capitol riot, right-wing violence, lasted several hours, condemned by all Republicans and Democrats, encouraged by only fringe political groups. Police force used, 1 person shot dead, 14 officers injured, 1 federal building damaged, no small businesses destroyed. Nationwide outrage.
It's absolutely true. But didn't they up the rate, the number now to like 5 supposedly died?
I'm not really keeping up on it because honestly, at this point, I have seen the narrative change so many times and get worse and worse and worse that I don't trust anything the mainstream media says at this point. Like I'm just not even listening to that noise. And what I'm saying is that the difference here is that it is in your face, and it's been not even just this last year, but the last several years. Whenever it is a group, a terrorist organization, or a racist hate group, or whatever it is that is committing acts of violence or destruction, they are excused, ignored, supported by social media and far leftists. When it comes to what needs to support their narrative about who the boogeyman is, it's national outrage. Everybody's upset. Everybody points the finger. It's like dealing with children.
Here's just me looking at this from the outside. You know what? This is one of those things where it's actually, they talk about the mob mentality and the mob mentality ruling. If it wasn't for social media and the mainstream media, like burying everything that the left wing was doing all summer long with their extreme groups, we probably would have heard more about it, because they wanted to bury it and they didn't want to talk about it because, well, deep down, they're part of their agenda. Even if it's part of the extreme end of their agenda, they're still part of their agenda, so they can't talk anything bad about them. But the minute something happens on the other side, something that's against their agenda, oh, well, now we got to talk about it. And they not only got to blast it all over social media, but they got to blast it from every mainstream news media outlet, whether it's newspaper, even, radio still exists, people, and they do talk about this stuff on radio. Yes, radio too. They started blasting this out there. So how does that create the difference? The way that creates a difference is the fact that everybody is hearing about it constantly. Because they're hearing about it constantly and they're hearing about it from multiple different sources, all of a sudden that must be the truth. So because that is the truth, because nobody should ever look into it, because the media never lies to you, everybody follows along with this false narrative, regardless of whether it's the truth or not. Did this stuff happen? Yes. Are these people, should they be held accountable? Absolutely. What about the people who committed all these acts all summer long? Why are they not being held accountable? If you want to sit there and say that these people need to be held accountable, you need to say that the other people need to be held accountable too. It's got to be even on both sides, or you are just creating a vacuum of power, saying that only your opinions matter and we're going to come down on you just like Monarch.
Right.
That's what it is like.
Right, and you're also saying that violence and destruction is perfectly fine if it aligns with a certain narrative, if it aligns with a political party, and that's why people in positions, creativity, people that are entertainers, work in the entertainment industry, should not be putting out shit like this. Keep your damn views to yourself, because you add to the problem. You are a very large part of the problem. Justina Ireland really hates white people. In our continuing journey through the open hatred for white people at Lucasfilm, we discover that apparently the only people allowed to broadcast openly racist comments are the ones who constantly accuse everyone else around them of being racist. Projection, anybody?
Just look, I can hear it. Can you not hear it? I can hear it. I swear I hear it. It's right there, man. I hear it.
Yeah, and I don't think that a racist person like this, not that she cares, because she is full of hate, right? She's a very hateful person, projecting her hatred and racism onto other people. I don't think that she understands her being as hateful and racist as she is perpetuating racism. And that someone like her may tip someone over that scale, may create more division. Like, I don't see, and there's nothing positive about Justina Ireland and the way that she carries herself and puts her thoughts out there on social media.
Yeah, it really is a shame too, because she's somebody who could sit there and actually, help steer people in a direction where racism isn't their sole and only belief. I mean, you know what? Because there's a lot of positives to be learned if you know people from different races and you interact with them. But she obviously doesn't think like that, because everything I've seen her write about or talk about is all about just racism and white is bad and this, that, and the other thing. So what happens when people like this get rid of one culture? You've seen it in the past. With the Spaniards, where they damn near eliminate most of the Mayans. Like, once they get rid of them, what do? They move on to the next people they're going to subjugate. That is the type of mentality that she is perpetuating, and most people are just not going to see it. Why? Because they're afraid to speak up against her because of her color. Yeah. Oh, kiss my fuzzy guinea pig ass.
Well, you're allowed to be a black supremacist. Wu Publishing really does love it when white people write about racism, don't they? Like, so only she's allowed to write about it. Only racist black people are allowed to write about racism.
She's the expert, man. She's making all the calls here. She's calling the shots. She knows all about it because she's apparently lived it. Like, I don't know, hundreds of years ago, and right. She was there when it all happened.
She's oppressed.
She knows about the horrors, and you know what I mean. Oh God, it's terrible. I really feel for her. I mean, just like there's been a lot of other people and a lot of other cultures over the years where they had to put down another race of people just to make sure, Nazis. But I mean, if that's what she wants to do, you go right ahead with it.
You're right. It is awfully funny how these people talk about being anti-fascist and they promote fascism. I've never. It's all contradict. It's all projection. And once people figure that out, and I'm talking about in the news media, social media, the people that work in Silicon Valley that think like this, people in Hollywood that work like this, the people everywhere around you. I swear to you, I kid you not. If any single person points the finger at you and calls you a Nazi or a fascist or whatever, they are projecting their own beliefs, and that's where I'm at with it.
Well, you know what? It's absolutely hilarious. Like you're saying, like, these people, they're sitting there projecting this kind of shit on other people. And then, when you call them on it, oh, well, you're only saying that because you're white, or you're only saying that because you're a racist, or you're an Uncle Tom, or you're this or you're that. I mean, how many other people have they done it to where they've got called on it and they just went at them with their ring ways like a rabid dog in the street, and just like tore into them and made them feel so bad, or made them feel so stupid that they backed down, or possibly just scared the holy dog shit out of them.
Not to Kill a Mockingbird, though, that book is literally about absolving nice white people and the responsibility of racism. Like, all she sees is race. And one thing Jane Theory said the other night, hail to Jane Theory, please subscribe to her. Everything that they're trying to do, or if they say they're fighting against, they're actually promoting. She walked into a bookstore and they had an entire section of just Black authors. They literally segregated Black authors into their own section. What is that? Is that racism, or am I crazy?
It's definitely it's a form of segregation, really, in a way, when you think about it, because we only want to have this group here and we don't want to have the other group. And what is segregation if it is not racism?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. It is. This is what, like, this whole SJW far left movement has been about. It's been about separating people into little check boxes, and then beating other people over the head with check boxes. Look, we are definitely all individuals, but just because I share, like Tommy, we're both white dudes, right? But we do not have the same heritage. We don't come from the same lineage. I think we're both heterosexual. Are you heterosexual, Tom?
Well, I sure hope so. I mean, unless somebody changed the rules on me.
Okay, dig it. We're both heterosexual. We both speak English. We're both an American citizen. We are not exactly alike. We do not think alike. We do not act alike. We may have similarities, similar likes, but we're different people. Everyone is different. This blanket idea of putting people into these little boxes and then saying they're all uniform is so limiting to who we are as humans. And then canceling people and not allowing them to speak their mind or a difference of opinion further isolates us from the understanding that we are all individuals. We are all different. It doesn't even matter. You could live in the same town. You could be of the same family in the same house and be different people. Did you fart? No, it's just me summoning my stand white privilege. Everything's race with her. It's really hard not to be bitter about all of the white people in publishing regurgitating the things Black women have been saying for almost a decade, like it's new. What? Like,
yeah, you know what? Here's the thing. It's people like her. They feel like they have some kind of monopoly on racism. Like they're the only ones that could ever know about it, and their experiences alone, whether it was actually really hers or somebody in the past, they feel that those experiences alone make her preeminent expert on it. And nobody else's opinion would ever matter. Because if she sits there and everything's white with her. White is bad, white is evil, and white is this. And I mean, what would she do if she actually had to go back in time and actually look at the way some, I guess, white people were treated back in the day when they were treated no better than slaves? When you look at the way the Irish were treated back in the day. Oh, well, I guess because they were able to rise up out of that situation, they're just as bad as the rest of the whitey now because they've been oppressing other people, right? Doesn't matter that they were oppressed to the point where they were no better than freaking dog shit on the street.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're forgetting something. Leslie Headland, who works at Disney, Lucasfilm, said that white people are not diverse, Tom. So I think you're going against the narrative there by bringing up the different ethnicities of Europeans.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started about the damn Nazis and shit and what they did to my freaking people, because they went after the Hungarians.
I guess mediocre white men are still going to be on here bragging about their mediocrity as though it's a hilarious anecdote instead of purely assholery. So thanks for establishing that baseline early, 2021. This is the person that Disney, all right, guys, Disney, the people that have, created cartoons for all of us that we have watched, movies that we have loved. something that's promoted to your family as a family establishment, to your children. This is the type of person Disney approves of writing books for Star Wars. I don't know how you reconcile that. Disney is an evil company. Disney is an evil company.
The worst thing about this is they're sitting there promoting this kind of idiot to write these kind of stupid ass things. And all they're doing is creating division in people. And the problem is once you get one idiot telling a story like this, they pass it on to the next idiot. The next useful idiot passes on to the next useful idiot. And that's how they keep this thing going. They just make people believe by the sheer number of morons that are passing the same information on. And maybe none of them started out believing it. But when they hear it over and over again from all their idiot friends, they think, well, you know what? It's got to be true. Then they start convincing other people, and then you get what you have right now with cancel culture.
Absolutely. And so the latest tweet from the High Republic archives, right, which is connected to Disney. This is Disney. This is the Star Wars. This is the dream factory that's supposed to be for everyone, for your children. This tweet has been found by a certain crowd of people, and they won't shut up about it now. Well, maybe people of common sense, people who have love in their hearts and empathy for others, maybe, just maybe, they have a problem with full-on racism, hateful shit being spewed in Star Wars, with Star Wars being used as a platform to espouse rhetoric, division, racism, sexism bullshit, and co-signed by Disney, who's supposed to be for everybody, who promotes their parks and their products, and it's to everyone, to your kids as a family and as a family product, and they support this kind of hateful shit. They're not doing anything about this. They have to be co-signing to this. That's where I stand with it.
Yeah, and I just want to end like this. You dumb bitch. You stupid bitch. You were so worried about people throwing mud in your eye for saying stupid shit like this. You shouldn't have been in the damn puddle slinging it to begin with, you moron. What did you think was going to happen? That you're going to be able to talk to people however you want and that they weren't going to chirp back at you? These are the type of people that would wind up being in a city, okay? And maybe they're not from the city initially, but they wind up going into the inner city and they just feel like they could talk to people however they want to talk to them, like they would talk in their rural communities where they're known and everybody, everybody knows your name. It's like Cheers. When you go into an urban setting and most people don't know who the hell you are and you start running your mouth, what's going to wind up happening?
This is the product of the creation of an echo chamber, right? This is Facebook censoring people or deplatforming people or Twitter deplatforming people or the tech companies coming together to push other platforms that allow free speech to kick them off. This is the result of armies of brainless, brain-dead, hate-filled idiots on the internet initiating cancel culture, bullying people off of platforms, destroying their reputation and financial viability, driving some people to suicide. This is the result of creating echo chambers, is that someone like this, Justina Ireland, this hateful bigot, feels perfectly fine spewing this type of bile and divisive rhetoric while working for Disney.
And here's like one more for the book on this one, because when she's sitting there doing this nonsense, I mean, does she not realize what she's doing to the youth that are hearing this shit? They're listening to this and they feel like there is no hope because racism is still a thing and it's overpowering and I'm never going to be able to escape it, especially if that kid happens to be white. And they feel like, oh my God, I need to kill myself because I'm part of the problem. Well, nice going. You just caused some kid to become so devoid of respect for themselves that they felt like they shouldn't be living anymore.
Exactly. And you just inspired a lot of people because we're all built different. Some of us struggle with internal issues. Some of us have anger issues or depression issues or whatever, what have you. We all have our own vices. We all have our own trials and tribulations to get through. But you may have just pushed someone who was trying to better themselves, who may have just had a lot of hate in them for whatever reason. You may have just pushed them into being a full-on racist just like you. But unfortunately, I believe that is Justina Ireland's intention. I'm going to call you out. Absolutely. High Republic, I'm going to call you out. All your terrible, horrible, divisive authors, not even your creativity, because you don't have any. This is what happens when agenda comes before content. You hire people because of check boxes. You hire them because they have the same like-minded, hateful ideology, and they spew garbage and division. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe to Tommy the Guinea Pig Collective. Link is in the description below. Be good to each other.